What's good, YouTube? Sandman here. Another video for you guys. Today, I just got a quick one, and this is more of a conversation piece than an actual, like my usual videos. But, so I'm not going to drag it out or anything, but I want to get to it. I want to talk about the 2K Lab. Here's the thing. I just recently made a new Sharp, and I was playing around, and I was thinking, I should go and see what the community thinks is the best jump shots, right? And so I look around YouTube, of course, that's kind of the go-to, and what do you find? You find these videos for 2K Lab, right? These guys, and so I check them out, and what they claim is that they have a modded controller that tells them what the green windows are for jump shots. Now, I'm not a computer programmer, but that struck me as a bit odd. So I thought, okay, well, let's check into this, right? First thing I tried to Google, tried to find out, and maybe it's incredibly hidden. I guess I want to put a disclaimer in the beginning of this video. I could be wrong about 100% of this. I'm totally willing to say that. This is my personal opinion from my perspective. With that said, I didn't find anything whatsoever about these guys having any contracts with 2K whatsoever. They have no affiliation with 2K, with Take-Two Interactive, which the guys who actually make this game. That's important if you understand how video game animations work and if you understand how jump shots work in this game this year. This is the first year that jump shots work the way they do, where being open and hitting a perfect jump shot timing and everything does not mean you will make the shot. This is the first year it's like that. The algorithms don't allow it. The 2K themselves have come out and said, even if you shot every shot perfectly wide open, you will not make 100% of your shots this year. They're trying to make it more dynamic, trying to make it more real. Because Steph Curry, wide open with nobody guarding him, does not make 100% of his shots. He may be the best shooter of all time. He doesn't make 100% of his shots. It just doesn't happen. So they're trying to be more realistic. So these things started adding up. So they're not licensed by 2K. And like I said, understanding how jump shots work in this game and all that, I really started to have my questions like, wait a minute, so how are they figuring this out? Like, how do they know what these green light windows are? They don't have the algorithms directly from 2K. 2K's not going to release those. Those are copyrighted. Okay, so their claim is, and this is what I've seen, from what they've lived, they give very, very little detail about how they're actually getting these numbers. Other YouTubers, and I'll use names because these YouTubers have flat out said this stuff on their channels. Brutal Sim, Agent Zero, these guys have said on their channel that what 2K Lab is doing is they have a modded controller that tells them what the green windows are, that hits perfect greens. That's their actual wording almost every time, is that 2K Lab has a modded controller that hits perfect greens every time. Okay, here's a problem. Number one, like I said, we don't have 100% green windows this year. We do not have 100% shooting this year. It is impossible to hit 100% this year. You may get lucky and hit 100% in one game, but the way 2K has set up the algorithms this year, their own people have said it's not set up that way. Okay, so even if controllers weren't senders, they were actually receivers, like is what they're claiming they have, which I have a $300 professional controller sitting in front of me. It doesn't receive shit, so I don't know what they're talking about. But even if they had that, you could not time green windows every single time because it changes. And it changes on so many dynamics, from how open you are, how many badges you are, what your actual overall is, what your actual three-pointer is, and then on top of that, like I said, 2K has said you cannot hit 100%. So they factor that in on top of it. So say everything you're doing in the game, your badges, your stats, your openness, your release, everything should be 100%. You still may miss the shot because 2K's algorithm is set not to let 100% of those shots go in. So how the fuck could you have a controller that tells you when you green light or what that window is? It doesn't make any sense because that window doesn't exist in the first place. You could have an average, I guess, if you took enough jump shots, but then it's based on the number of jump shots. So like say I'd use jump shot base 1 and I took 1,000 jump shots and I made 700 of them. Okay, well then you have a 70% rating on that jump shot with 2K's algorithm, not just the jump shot by itself. Because you can't use just the jump shot by itself because 2K's algorithm is not going to let you hit 100% of your shots. I can say this over and over again. This is why you can't have a modded controller that hits greens every single time, because even if you had, like I said, a controller that sends instead of receives, or I'm sorry, but that receives instead of sends, which is weird as fuck, it could only send, like, say the green light level to get a green light jumper every time was 72%. Okay, so you set the controller at 72%. 2K's system this year will not allow 100% green lights. You would have no way to test that. You would have no way to test that. All you could do is say, within this window, you have a higher percentage. That's all you could do. You cannot tell me what the actual millisecond green window is on any jumper based on a controller you have. You cannot do that. That is not real. And so that brings us to the point of this video. And like I said, I could rant on about this. Y'all know how I rant, but I wanted to make a point here. I think we're getting bamboozled, guys. I really do. Because you cannot, number one, like I said, you can't, there's two major factors. Number one, 2K has already said there is no 100% green light. Well, if there is no 100% green light and they haven't released their algorithms that tells us how much they're actually limiting a 100% green light shot, then there's no way to test that. There's no way to test it whatsoever. You would literally have to take each jump shot, shoot every one of them 1,000 times, and then you wouldn't need a modded controller. You could just say this one hits. When we greened, it hit this much of the time. How often did we green? Well, we green this much of the time on a controller that is set to turbo to shoot at this speed. Your controller couldn't tell you what speed you're shooting at. You could set it to a certain speed and see if you get green lights. But then you're going to have to do that for every single jump shot in the game. And if you pay money for their website, they give you the timing on every jump shot in the game. That's impossible. That is impossible. It's absolutely impossible. You do not have enough time from the release of the game to when their website goes live for that year. You do not have enough time. There's no way. 2K with their own staff on full time couldn't do that over a year. They don't know other than what their own algorithms tell them. So the idea that you have a controller that does this for you is ludicrous. It's just ludicrous. I was a computer science major for my first year in college. I ended up being a history major because of my stuff with the military. I understand the basics of how computers work, senders and receivers and all this stuff. Controllers are not receivers. They're not receivers. It doesn't make any sense. And so, and then, like I said, you mix that with the fact that 2K has already said there is no 100% green light. Even if you had a receiver as a controller, which doesn't exist, you couldn't use it. There'd be nothing, there's no 100% factor. You have no base. You have zero base without literally sitting there testing every single jump shot 1,000 times until you find the green window. And then when you find the green window, test it 1,000 times within that green window to figure out what your millisecond thing is. It's an insane idea within itself that they could do that for every jump shot in the game, much less to the milliseconds that they're saying they have it. It doesn't make any sense, guys. I think we're being bamboozled. And like I said, you can look on their stuff and you can use their builders and stuff, and it's all free, and that's fine and that's great. And so I'm not trying to totally trash these guys, but they do charge money for their like pro whatever of their website to actually see all what the best stuff is supposed to be. And the problem is everything I just talked about for the last 10 minutes. It doesn't make sense. You can't have all that stuff without actually having a contract with 2K, without knowing their algorithms. And 2K is not just going to release that without a contract, because you're making money off their product. They're not going to give you information about their product that is held secret when you're the one making money off their product, and they're in no way anywhere have we seen any type of actual contract between Take-Two Interactive and 2K Lab. 2K Lab is just a YouTuber channel that a bunch of guys started. Like, it's not like an official 2K anything. So I just wanted to put this out there. I'm going to quit my rant there. I don't want to keep going. And hopefully this helps somebody. I mean, just think for a second before you buy into shit. Like, what the main thing the only reason I really made this video, because I could give a fuck really, but the main reason I made this video is because I see these big time 2K YouTubers who are talking about 2K Lab, and it's like, wait a minute. Like, where are you getting your information from, man? And like, I don't know, I think maybe they're spending way too much time doing their YouTube videos and cutting their clips and all that kind of shit to try and make themselves look good. And they're not doing enough time actually thinking about what's happening in front of them and like what information they're putting out to the public. And so that's why I wanted to make this video. Like I said at the very beginning of the video, I could be 100% wrong about all this. Maybe there's some type of computer technology that I just don't know about. Okay, even then, unless they're contracted with 2K and have 2K's algorithms for how they contemplate 100% green light shot and like what percentage of those go in. Because you have to calculate that in. If you don't have 2K's own calculation of how often they will let a 100% green light shot go in this year, you cannot calculate what the green light is on any shot. You really can't. Because you get green and miss. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm just saying, like, think for a minute, guys, before you buy into this stuff. It could be bullshit. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm off my rocker. All the facts point to, no, these guys is somebody who formed a YouTube channel. They found a niche. Told you guys they had some bullshit. You guys believed it or got some YouTubers to say it. Because honestly, I couldn't find shit on their channels. On their actual YouTube, not their YouTube, but their actual internet channel, or internet page, excuse me. They don't put much about how they actually get their numbers. And they just say that with a lot of time and effort and all this kind of, yeah, I don't think so. Something's not right. So I don't know, guys. Like I said, could be 100% wrong. I doubt I am. I think it's a bamboozle. I think it's a trickster is all it is. It just doesn't make sense with the game that we're playing, with what 2K has said about their game. Well, I mean, there's been videos posted online of people missing wide open greens. Like, you see a green and it misses. That has been posted happening. So the fact that these guys could say they have what they're actually telling people and what YouTubers are telling people is that these guys have a controller that literally they choose a jump shot, go in, take a few jump shots with the controller, and the controller figures out what the green light window is. So you're telling me you have a controller that tells you when there's a green light animation on the screen, because that's what we're actually looking at, guys. We're not looking at computer programming. We're looking at a bunch of percentages that might end in this animation or that animation. And apparently these guys have a controller that tells them not only when that animation happens, but what milliseconds you have to push the button to make that animation happen. It's total bullshit, guys. I'm not buying it one bit. I think 2K Lab is I think it's a con job. I really do. I think it's a con job, and I think a lot of people have fallen for it, including some of the biggest YouTubers for 2K. So I wanted to put this video out. If somebody can give me hardcore direct evidence of how wrong I am, I will gladly make a rebuttal video or whatever. I have no problem doing that. I'm not calling this out. I have nothing against these guys. I don't know these guys. But my common sense tells me that they're full of shit. And that the community's being bamboozled. And it's part of my job as a 2K content creator. Which, I don't just do 2K, but I do 2K content. And I'm a content creator. Is to let you guys know, hey, you might be missing something here, and this is what I think you're missing. So that's my video, guys. Hopefully I didn't piss anybody off too bad. It's just a point of view. Could be wrong, could be right. Pretty sure it's right. Don't get screwed. At least check into it before you give them your money. Sandman out.